as we hop in here to the first round, which will be moving, as I also will just make sure to fix this leaderboard real quick.
Yeah, so MK and Jewel, both American players, both players who I don't think are like very old player, like in terms of how long they've been playing. They're pretty new players in that sense. But both of them have been grinding a lot, and particularly MK, I know he has had like tens of thousands of games in the past year.
Oh wow.
And so it's an insane level of grinding. And so I think in this game, MK or in general in the tournament, MK comes as one of the favorites. And so I think Jewel here will have to put up a good fight to be able to take down MK. But of course, anything can happen. You know, maybe the pressure can build up. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I love being able to just sit back and have my co-caster do the perfect intro for games, because that means I don't have to do anything. So thank you so much. I couldn't have asked for a better setup to this match we're about to see. Of course, for those of you guys watching, it is a best of 5. We're going move into no move, into move, into no move. And should we be lucky enough to go to round 5, that's where the dreaded NMP set, or favorite, I guess, for some, NMP set is going to take us. So now, without further ado, let's get round number 1 started. And right off the bat here, anything that pops out to you, Rado?
So it looks like we are in Sri Lanka, and MK immediately locks it in.
It's Plonk territory.
Yeah. Sri Lanka being a small country, yeah, you probably aren't going to be able to find information that quick, although it looks like Jewel was able to find a bus here with some place names. However, I think this will be something we will be seeing throughout this game. The fact that MK sent really quickly on these moving rounds. I think both of these players probably would consider themselves more of no-move players.
Okay.
And so the fact that MK sent so quick is not a surprise. I think MK will try and insta-send most of the game, most of the rounds, if he can.
Makes sense. He is quickly going towards Hungary. Not gonna opt to do too much in terms of getting specific road info down, but jokes on anyone else, because there isn't really a whole lot of road info to be found, at least that's in terms of signs here to go off of. But again, I mean, it's early days, it's early damage coming through. Which country is the most plonked country in GeoGuessr? Would you say
most plonked, as in the one that people guess the most, or what do you mean?
Yeah, just what's the if we took all professional GeoGuessr matches ever played and took the country where the average guess time is the lowest?
Okay.
South Korea.
That's a good question.
I feel like that's like the meme one, where as soon as it's South Korea, you pretty much
definitely the meme one.
Yeah, but is that the fastest?
Qatar is probably up there. Like, no one's probably guessing Qatar either.
No?
And some other small countries like that. Yeah. UAE probably as well, not too much.
I love the fact that it didn't say Denmark. It warms my heart.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know that I do enjoy region guessing even small countries like Denmark. I think it is fun.
Nice. I appreciate it. A guy from a massive country appreciating us small folk. I truly appreciate it. Looks like we are headed towards Utah, maybe, unless if they want to change things up. But nope, Salt Lake City was the direction of this one. And 450, I mean, again, not a massive amount of damage, but still, we've seen time and time again that when these rounds go all the way down to round 10, there are a lot of times where you wish you had 200 extra health to work with.
Yeah, we move into an Israel here. And again, probably not a lot of points. We're going to see a quick insta-send. And there we go. I'm waiting for a difficult big country. I think that's where we'll really see the decisive points here.
Boom. Yet another one. Yet another simple one. As this time around, while the damage wasn't big at all, it's the motivational damage that comes through us. Is this bigger? Are we looking at bigger places now than we were before?
Unfortunately not. It's back in Sri Lanka again. So. More of the same.
This is the plunk round. We're gonna try to break the record of how to get to round 10 the fastest.
This actually might be the fastest game we'll ever see on, like...
When we get double Sri Lanka and Israel in one game, you know it's gonna be pretty quick in before we're ending on Denmark. Yep. I'll be all for it. Let's see. Ooh, actually pretty impressive plonk coming through there from Jewel. So again, not massive, but 300 damage. Now sets himself almost 1,000 points ahead.
I think Jewel is enjoying the extra 15 seconds he's getting from MK in Ascending. I think that sometimes it does just benefit the player who does take a little more time.
Definitely does. Light pole to work with. Any crucial info that you're seeing here?
Yeah, so we have some Brazilian polls here, and you can see immediately that with a bigger country, we are taking a little more time. I'm curious to see where players will send and if this round could be big points.
Let's see. See where these guys are moving. None of them looking at the map. As I say that, finally Jewel brings it up. This is arguably the longest round we've had so far. 20 seconds left on the clock, and neither of them guessing so far.
Yeah, but they look to be in pretty different locations, so we could see a lot of points here. I think MK got to a sign. Let's see if it pays off. He's lining it up now.
Ooh, nice guess down towards the south. And important damage, massive damage coming through. Actually, that's going to be game.
Yeah, and there we go. That was smart play by MK there. So the one round he took a lot more time on was this round. And it seemed to have paid off because he managed to find info, actually, and just actually use that to his advantage.
Does that intimidate you a bit when you're Jewel, as we just hop over to our cameras for a second here, so we get the next game ready to go? Does that intimidate you a bit when you're up against a guy who goes, guess, 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 then all of a sudden, you're like, wait, he hasn't guessed yet. He must have found something. Like, what's going on? I don't get this.
Yeah, I would say it could be frustrating even for Jewel. Like, it's can be annoying when you don't even have time to think or, like, process everything sometimes because of how fast he's sending.
Yeah.
And so... keeping the pressure up, I mean, it definitely works in MK's favor, especially as we saw here.
Definitely did. Well, let's get straight into match number 2, or I should say round number 2, as we are hopping on over to the no move portion of this one. Let's get this one started. Anything in particular that sticks out to you as we kick things off?
So we switched a map on no move and NPZ, and as you can see, the location difficulty immediately got more went up, I guess I should say. And it looks like this one might be fairly difficult for the players. It looks like both of them are in Greece though, so I think it won't be that much damage. Yep, they both send Greece there, but we will start to see maybe a little more time on these rounds as both players feel like they don't need to guess as quickly. MK will sense that, like, because the other player won't get to signs or other information, that he can take a little more time.
Quick info, this card that you're seeing right here is the same one that my parents-in-law have. Just saying, it's not red, it's another color, but that's the info I can contribute with in a round like this one.
Fortunately, this one isn't Denmark, though. It looks like it's Newfoundland.
It looks very North American to me.
Yeah.
The double yellow lines usually is a pretty good takeaway. Even I know that. What are we looking at though? I mean, while it is North America, it could still be quite far apart, but no, even on the same road here. Solid guess.
Yeah, both of them recognizing the road there. So well done to them.
What would you say is the most iconic road in Geoguessr? To you, that is.
I feel like there's this road in Far East Siberia that goes to Magadan that's really recognizable because of the bushfire coverage that was happening while the road was covered. And you have mountains and just extremely hazy coverage. And so that one, I think the majority of players, even those who are pretty new to the game, will recognize because of how unique it is.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see. So we're up into round 3. Still no damage done towards MK, leading by a match already as well. As Jewel, he needs to start to try and find his way back into this one. What do you do, Rado, mentally, if a couple of rounds go against you, maybe even like the first match in a best of 5 like this? What do you do to kind of reset your mentality when the game is not working out your way?
For me, a big part of it is just the fact that these games have big multipliers. And so as the game goes on, you get these like 5.5x multiplier rounds. And so even on a small country, like that could be up to like 2,000, 3,000 points just like that.
Yeah. Oh, just like that. 1,000 damage additionally on top. Solid guess coming through from MK. Another solid one for MK as we hop for real as 2 fellas make that 4. Maybe on their way to work. I'm not sure. But let's see if these guys can guess where we're going. What are you seeing here? That maybe these guys are as well.
We have tie poles. Yeah, and we have some rubber trees over here to our south. Thailand is notoriously difficult to region guess, and so yeah, it looks like MK just clicks middle here. Jewel does go for a region guess. Let's see if it pays off. Going pretty east. It is possible. Could definitely see an eastern Thailand here.
Well, let's see if that's the case. Southern Thailand. I guess to some extent southern, because it does stretch quite a bit further down. But once again, it's MK flawless halfway through this one.
Yeah, MK's been quite consistent so far. Not any bad guesses. Maybe not the best guesses all the time, but definitely very consistent.
As long as you're closer. And
exactly.
That's all that matters. Jewel, again, needs to reset, needs to get back into it. Maybe this round will do it for him. What to you? Are we at a bike meta, rice field meta? What are we looking at that could give us some indications here?
We're looking at Bangladesh here, and it looks like, okay, Jewel is actually region guessing. I think Jewel is correct on this one. I'm actually one of the best Bangladesh players, and so I do like it when people try and region guess the country. And it looks like Jewel has a pretty good guess there. Yep.
And again, I mean, while Bangladesh is let's get it over with country with a 3.5 times multiplier, and you having not done any damage to your opponent yet, Jewel taking that extra amount of time, as you're saying here, region guessing Bangladesh, that's a huge win for him with 1,300 coming through.
Exactly. Well done.
Yeah, solid. Solid damage done as we hop towards the warm south, it looks like.
Yes, Nigeria here. Southern Nigeria, so you're right about that.
I guess Nigeria is not that far south in comparison to, I mean.
Yeah.
I've always loved how there is all these different shop names. How you can go like Google and Apple with like B's instead of P's and stuff. Like all their stores. There must be some guy making all these signs for their shops that is just having the best time ever.
Yeah, the signs can be really useful too. They often are pretty happy to give you the city and sometimes even state name. So in Nigeria, often looking at signs or posters like these can be very useful. Looks like none of them find any useful information on them though, so it looks like they are just kind of region guessing. Both of them kind of in a similar area in the south. Gonna be too many points.
Okay. Oh, actually then around the same city as well, Nizza. That's where it is. Not a lot of damage done as we head into round number 8. And again, still, 1,700 points behind for Jewel right now. Had a good chunk bit off of MK just before, but I feel like he needs yet another one in order to, I should say, comfortably head into round 10, should we go that far.
Yeah, and we move back into another big country here. Let's see what happens. Not really sure what to make of this one at the moment. I'm sure they're a little... Yeah, I could see where Jewel is. They look like, yeah, it looks like they both go for the Texas border, which I think is the correct call here.
North side Mexico, south side US of A. Where is this one gonna take us? Again, I mean, Jewel would really, even if it's just, let's say, 700-800 points, if we can just somewhat even things out with 2 more rounds left to play, that'd be huge.
Yeah, even this round could be a decent amount of damage. Could bring Jewel right back in.
I mean, they're definitely on either side of the city.
Yes.
4 points, 5-type multiplier. Let's see how much damage it's gonna do. Oh, Jewel saw something last minute.
I think Jewel tried to click last second to switch to right over there in Laredo and didn't get the guess change off.
You saw him jump off the chair. Now he's smiling as well. He knows. That could have been huge.
He won't be happy about that, but the game's not over. He's still got 2 more rounds.
I hope these guys have good insurance, because that water level seems to be pretty, pretty high. Round 9, 5 times multiplier, a couple of miles off, and you could have your game done for, even if you're MK here. Cow meta back in full effect. Potentially. Let's just make it a thing. I feel like I feel like cows is the animal that you see the most often on Geoguessr maps or Google Maps.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would agree with that, I think.
So there's gotta be some sort of meta you can make off of it. The question might be whether they are, like, whether the cows are different looking enough, even if it's different breeds, that you can actually build something off of it.
Yeah, well, I know, for example, in France, there are a lot of different breeds of cows, and I think people have tried looking into region guessing using different cow breeds.
There you go.
I don't know how useful it is. I don't know how, like, trustworthy you can...
One day, there will be that one scenario where had he studied his cow meta, he could have won a game that he did. But if not, then not. Ooh, this is gonna be massive. Huge coming through. 12, that's GG. Jewel down and out. That was a very, very solid guess from MK there.
Yeah, great job guessing Ecuador there. Probably not the easiest Ecuador round. And even in the country, you got pretty close guess. So it's going to be hard to take down MK with those kind of guesses.
Definitely. He's playing incredibly solid. Maybe it's the camouflage. Maybe it's him being full, you know, like in the Ninja Warrior game mode that he's currently portraying himself in. Maybe that's what it takes for him to just be fully in the zone. We saw before, from Sachu before, as well with the Rubik's Cube. All these players have their different things that they do in the... I mean, let's give them, 30 seconds between the rounds where they have to go back to guessing again? Do you have anything in particular that whenever you've put in your guess, you can just, you know, let go of the mouse and go, well, let's hope it was correct? Do you have anything you do to keep your, like, brain stimulated coming into the next guess?
I don't really think so. I think I just kind of, like, think to myself. I just maybe talk to myself sometimes, but most of the time I'm just, like, you know, calm, just waiting for the next round.
Do you talk to yourself, or do you just mentally talk to yourself? Because I know some people that will actually sit and, like, verbally talk to themselves, which I think, I mean, if it works for you, then you do that.
I think I'm more on the mental talk side, but yeah.
Fair enough. Let's hop into the next round, as we do have a 2-0 lead in favor of MK. It's do or die time for Jewel now. He needs to turn things around if he wants to bring this one home, as we hop back into moving.
Starting off with a bang here in Russia. See how this one goes. Could be some big points right off the bat.
Definitely could. Russia, big country, big points. That's usually two things to go hand in hand. Let me ask you another trivia, I suppose. What is the smallest country that can give the largest amount of points? Like, in terms of where you can really lock things down easily. I know it might be a stupid question, but I guess maybe it's worthwhile asking.
Yeah. In
or like bait countries.
I played. Bait countries can get you a lot of points, but I know in a recent tournament that I played, I completely misregion guessed the Netherlands and lost like 700 points on a round in the Netherlands, which is like probably the most you could lose on that.
It's the opposite end of the country.
Yeah, to be fair, like both ends of the countries look very similar. So
yeah, fair.
That was surprising how many points I lost there.
I feel like there should be a thing where the more rounds we play, the smaller the country becomes. There should be like an algorithm thing, so the small countries get to matter as well.
That would be interesting.
Imagine if round 10 was... I mean, I guess we couldn't really do that. If you have like someone up with 2,000 or 4,000 points, then it would kind of ruin things. As these guys, once again, heading into round 3, the reason I should say, we haven't really talked too much about the match so far. It's because they've been pretty on point. Both of them. Only a couple hundred damage done to Jewel. But once again, I mean, MK, he's pretty flawless.
Yeah, he is playing very well. And we've had 2 large countries, and we're in another one here in Chile. It looks like MK seems pretty confident on his guess. See if Jewel goes in a similar area. Does appear to be somewhat similar. A little more north though, so be a bit of points. He is zooming more south again, but this time he doesn't change, and that was a good move by him.
Yep, solid. Finally, some points on the board as he almost ties things up, coming in to round number 4. It's a little better to kick things off here. Let me ask you again. I mean, you know, obviously these 2 players, Radu. You said that you were happy, I guess, that you didn't play this qualifier, but the previous one. Was any of those threats, let's call them, MK and Jewel? Or where do you like position them compared to the rest of the teams that are playing in this Wildcard qualifier?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely played a fair amount with both players, particularly with MK. I've played a lot, and I know what a good player he is, and because of that, I definitely wouldn't want to face him just because it could go either way in that sense. So, yeah, I mean, as you can see, he's just playing spot on.
Yeah, and even when he's off, so is his opponent. Kind of indicates that whatever got him off, got his opponent off too. Hey, this might be Japan. It's very rare that I dare to guess, but I feel like this looks very Japanese.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. We got some bonsai over there. Classic Japanese. Let's see if there's anything useful here. They're going to go for a pulp, most likely.
And that's again, I mean, as we had it broken down a bit earlier. Tell me again, just reminder for the viewers, when you have countries that have such a, I feel like, massive meta that is pretty much always within view, what is it about these polls that helps so much?
Yeah, so there are a few things on these polls that help. For example, MK zoomed on the plate, whereas Jewel zoomed in on this connector bar thingy under the transformer. Both things can really help you narrow down the region because they do have different regional pull plates and different regional aspects like those bars and transformers and insulators and all the other parts of the pole. You know, there's a million technical words for the things on the poles.
We're not electricians.
Yeah, I'm not qualified to
the thingamabobs and the thingamadoops. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Ooh. I just know the shape of them, and that's good enough for me.
I mean, you know what? If you can make guesses based on it, then that's all you need, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Both of them are very, very close to one another. Actually, exact same distance. 1 point off, which will turn into 4 with the multipliers, of course. But again, little to no damage done. Little to no points separating these 2 teams as we head on into round number 7. This has once again been a very quick round with, I feel like MK kind of taking the lead in terms of setting the pace. Also the actual lead as he's up 2-0. And Jewel, I mean, right now, hanging on. But he needs to turn this around. If he loses this one, he's out.
Yeah, that being said, Jewel seems to be playing pretty confidently as well. As you can see, he actually goes in to the guess before MK on this one. So an interesting switch up here. But I think we'll see MK go for a similar guess here. Yeah, it looks like they're both in Victoria. Could still be a decent amount of points, but it is a bit in between them. Jewel does pick up a bit.
And that's the time where in the previous rounds we've seen, now the name has slipped off the top of my head, but when you only get so many times to get a guy like MK off, for example, in the guess where they were in more central northern Germany and it was in Munich, that's where you, when you're in Jewel, try and have to punish, because MK doesn't really make, at least today, doesn't make those mistakes very often, and just Jewel just hasn't really been able to capitalize on any of set kind of off guesses so far.
Yeah, I think you will notice if you watch a lot of Geoguessr games that the rounds that people miss are ones that both players tend to miss. And you'll notice it's quite interesting, even when they miss, they tend to make very similar guesses.
They come from the same school of Geoguessr learning.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone kind of has the same sort of hive mind ideas about locations, about how the world looks. Just because, a lot of the resources, I guess, that we use are similar, and just that generally, like, I feel like we get ideas about how certain places look, and so in our minds, it's like, even though we're different players, like, we'll still kind of send the same thing because that's kind of our first vibe.
Are there anyone that approach the game differently? Like any pros that are not notorious, but like famous for playing, or just having a different, like mentality around the game? As we now see, okay, I mean, the multipliers are stacking up, so quite a chunk of damage done towards Jewel coming into round 9.
I'm really not sure if there's someone standout like that. I think, I don't know. I think generally almost everyone plays together. Like, there is a overarching Geoguessr community, and so you're not gonna really see that many people who stand out and are really good at the game. I think most people who are really good at the game are at least somewhat within this community, have learned from the same resources, for example.
Yeah, well, let's see now, as Italy is locked in quickly. It's not been often times that Jewel gets the first guess in, but this time around it is, and we're all the way over in Marseille. This could be huge points with 5 times multiplier, and it is gonna go the favor of MK. Finally, Jewel tries to get the guess in early, but it comes with his own downfall off of it. 3-0 to MK in what was, again, I mean, I feel like all these games that we've seen so far here was them being very even all the way through until that one final guess, and just boom. As we head to round number 4 in just a moment, we'll get that game set up for you. But before that, talk me through what we saw here. I mean, Sheena playing incredibly well right now.
Yeah, incredibly well, and he gets me worried sometimes when he last second switches, because okay, either he does the right thing or he will hate himself for second guessing himself and switching last second. But in this match, it worked out both times and with very great effect. Especially the Mexico round stood out to me. He was on the East Coast first, then switched to the West Coast, basically getting the road. So yeah, great performance by him.
We've seen a few of them already. I will say, though, I mean, we saw from Satsu in the previous match that he played how his ability to kind of set the pace up and force his opponent to make mistakes. I mean, Sheena is happily taking those 15 seconds any day of the week, and has been, while maybe adjusting quite a bit in the last couple of seconds. It goes to show that with every adjustment he's made, he's just gotten that much closer to the target.
Yeah, I think there's also difference in moving and no move, because in moving, you don't only give them more time, you give them more opportunities as well to find information.
True.
And in no move, maybe he will stick to it, just guessing fast, because he won't gain any more information from it, unless he missed like a crucial thing in the image. But I think he will take a good look, and then if he's confident, just insta-send and maybe put on the pace again.
Well, we'll see if it's going to work out for him as we are headed on into the next round. Let's just get it up. Let's get it going, as it is now 2-1 in favor of Sheena. Round number 1. Simple days here to kick things off. What are we seeing?
Yeah, just a simple South Africa. Blue car, driving left. Southern Hemisphere, only one option. Question is, can they read anything helpful here, like a phone code or a town name? I don't see one.
Very quiet days. Cape Town is where Satsu is looking down towards, even south thereof, all the way down to the southern Cape, southern tip of the continent.
Yeah, I kind of like it because we have like a mountain ridge east, which could be the one just downtown Cape Town, but it looks a bit empty for it, maybe.
Let's see.
That would be a very good guess if it is there. But I think he will switch.
Somewhat nearby vicinities, but still Satsu a bit further off to the east. Let's see who's going to come out
And
victorious.
Sheena found it, I
guessing
think.
so far.
I think Sheena found it.
Is that a 5K? One of the first of the day. Yes, it is. 22 meters off. Yet another 5K. And while I know it might not matter much in the current format and grand scheme of things, I do love to see it. Love to see players being able to pull up a globe and lock down the exact location they're in.
I mean, just the mental warfare on that guess is very, very good for Sheena, because he's already up 2-1 and he makes a very impressive guess first round. Not only makes a good guess, but also just gets the exact road. Yeah, and Saju's like, okay, this is kind of not going my way right now. So.
Game on. Yeah, and you have to win this one as well. Remember, everyone, it is a best of 5. So unless if he can bring this one home and take us into our first NMP set of the evening, then it's going to be game over.
I don't know if I can handle an NPC game right now. But both people
Locked
will.
in. East side Brazil once more. We've been over here a couple of times already today.
Yeah, usually when it gets this hilly, it can only be the eastern part, really.
Indeed it was. Just to in between him. Damage done though towards Satu, who I mean, again, when you're down around, you're looking at elimination, and Sheena is playing flawless Geoguessr. How do you upset this? Oh my.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you upset him? Like, how do you catch him off? It doesn't feel like there's a region or country where he's just inconsistent.
I mean, maybe like we saw, maybe he's not very confident in Europe, because that's where I think he made his only 2 mistakes in this matchup, which was like the Italy-Austria round. I still don't know which side it was. But it was somewhere on the border, and the Hungary round. Both rounds had like very little info, and maybe that's like the rounds you kind of have to get. Those like nondescript European rounds. Maybe that's Saju's like hope.
Well, Saju's gonna log in the western side of Norway. We'll see if he gets any points off of it. Sheena has gotten the same direction as well, so this should be minimal points. But nonetheless, points in favor of Saju, who will finally start taking a couple of points off of Sheena.
Always good to break the flawless
Exactly.
very early on.
Mental warfare, as you were saying. While these guys obviously can't talk to one another during the game. I mean, technically they could, but they don't. It's always good to show that we aren't immortal after all.
Yeah, they're very locked in always. I'm always very surprised nobody has any like facial reactions. They're like cold-blooded killers sometimes.
Full focus.
Yeah.
Love to see it. A quick or early placement towards Estonia, towards Latvia. Are you liking what we're seeing?
Yep. I'm liking Latvia here, but that's just because I don't know, the road looks bad. And it is Latvia.
On point once again. 300 damage done towards Satu. The small hits come through once more as we head into round number 5. Not really too much separating him. As I say that, actually 1,700 points is quite a chunk. As we now hop over to something that looks UK-ish to me.
Yeah, either UK or Ireland here. The line to me, the road line looks more Irish, but
Okay.
I'm not very confident right now. I'll stick with Ireland with my guess, but
Sign in the background, some hills to look at. Building on the left, but doesn't look like that has a lot of info to go off of.
yeah, architecture obviously very similar in the two, or can be very similar. Although this house like arguably looks a bit more Irish, but it can always be Wales. And
True. Well, Wales is where, well, at least the border there too, is where Satu has placed his marker. Still towards the north, it's 3 times multiplier. While the distances aren't that great, it could be a lot of damage coming through, and it is going to be Ireland. Neither of the ones had the country correct, but regardless,
yeah,
it is going to be Sheena who comes out victorious.
I'm very surprised because we had the same thing in an earlier matchup, and both people didn't guess Ireland. I think it was one Northern Ireland guess and one was in the water. I think it was Nestor against. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because I think this road line is just Ireland, but it's always easier from a caster chair to just say,
Of course.
yeah, that's easy to get.
Yeah, why couldn't you get
In
that
this situation, it's I've been there and I made horrible mistakes when I was playing in competitive environments, so you kind of have to give them some leeway room.
The pressure does get to you. Does get to you
it does.
indeed. We'll see if the pressure's going to get to them here. Sheena has, again, I mean, played pretty flawless so far. We'll see if the pressure's going to get to him. If Sachu gets any chance of crawling back into this match, he's currently over 2,000 health behind as he now locks in. Towards Colombia is where Sheena is guessing too.
Both in a very similar area.
Yep, but it's Sachu able to claw back, able to get a little bit of damage done. 1,000 at that to try and even things out, getting closer to that round number 10 as we hop into flat cornfields once again.
You like to see it, or you don't, depending on how this round goes, maybe.
I'm gonna say Kansas. That's just a guess with absolutely nothing to build it off of. I was once told that there's a lot of corn in Kansas, and I'm seeing a lot of corn, therefore this must be Kansas.
Yeah, it is a lot of corn. I was thinking more of like Illinois, Indiana. Just because of how many trees are around. And we have 2 people in Illinois, actually. So that kind of confirms my idea, but I'm not the best US player.
Well, we'll see if they prove to be both locked in, both Illinois, both correct. I was wrong, but that's fine by me. They are much better than me and Satu. While having just done 1,000 damage, we'll take them in return immediately after. Yet another open field circle here, as again, I mean, what are you going off of in a location like this, Siggy?
Bit stunned here. I mean, we have the back of the car, which is European. Like we see the little place where the antenna would usually be. But as to which country we are, I'm kind of lost here.
That's good. That means maybe they are too.
Yeah, I think this is not an easy one. I'm kind of thinking again, like maybe Romania, Hungary. But again, this is a very hard round. But this is maybe what Saju needs.
I mean,
it's a very hard European round.
Yeah, exactly. A lucky hunch, a lucky maybe second guess of yourself to get it close, and then having Sheena make arguably one of the only mistakes he's made all evening. You can see him now off the mouse as well, hands held together. He's not sure what he wants to go for here.
Germany is interesting. I mean, this would be a very interesting road for Germany and very empty. I could see maybe a Czechia.
He did say that he wasn't too confident in Europe. Be that.
And Saju just hedging like 4 countries pretty much, so let's see where it is.
Are we game? Oh, we're not. It is going to be Germany. It is going to be Sheena closer. And that, my friends, is going to be game. And that is going to be Sheena, the first player through to the grand finals.